Hello and welcome to this video from Warric. Well, Microsoft, I didn't want to do this video, but you have forced my hand to do it. Now, let me start off by saying I'm a big supporter of the Xbox Gamepass and Ultimate. Let me get that from the start. But I have to take issue, because when I heard Game Pass was being announced by Phil Spencer, all I hear is no one left behind. We will cater for Xbox consoles. We will cater for tablets, mobile phones, cell phones and PC. Because you are paying for a service. You are paying for a platform. Right? It shouldn't matter what console or whatever you are actually using to play your games on. And then we had the big shock, didn't we? We had all the games announced, Fable 4, etc. And then we had the first ever locked game, the Medium, which you can only play on the Xbox Series S, Series X or PC. Now, I've got an Xbox One X, which up until about 3 months ago was the most powerful Xbox in the world. Now, all of a sudden, I'm sorry to say this, but in Microsoft's eyes, it's a piece of shit. So we can no longer have access to Medium. And this is going to be happening with a lot of new titles. And I'm not very happy with Microsoft, because they are restricting access to people who have paid the same amount of money than anybody who's got on the Series S or Series X or PC. They paid just the same amount of money, but they're only getting limited access to some games. Now, if they're going to do something like this in the future, which I think they are going to do, they've got to reduce the price. If you're on next gen or PC, you should pay the full price for Game Pass. If you're on an Xbox One or an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X, you should have a reduced price, because if you're not going to get the latest titles, right, or not going to get the latest titles for a few months ahead, I'll come on to that what that is in a minute. But if you're not going to get the same titles day and date, and you're paying the same price, I'm sorry, Microsoft, that's not fair. Now we're going to get on to this about, I heard that the Medium will be available on the lower consoles at a later date. Now we all know why this is, because Microsoft has got no exclusive games for at least another 2 to 3 years, and this is gospel. And I don't care if all the top Xbox fans attack me for this. It's the truth. They bought the Bethesda deal, unless we know that Fable 4 and Elder Scrolls 6, and that's just been announced, are all going to be exclusive to Xbox and PC, which is not really any news, because if you paid $7.5 billion for that kind of, to buy them companies, you would expect them to be exclusive. Even though the two games that's coming to PS5, they was already contracted to Sony. But I'm going back to the focus of the video. Is all I kept hearing is no one left behind. Everybody plays together. I'm sorry, Microsoft. You've got a great service, but I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to force people into buying your next-gen systems. But that's not going to happen. Two things are going to happen. One, they're either going to cancel their Game Pass subscription, or they'll probably go and buy a PlayStation, which is not going to hurt PlayStation much, because PlayStation is destroying you at the moment anyway, and that's a fact. I mean, the PS5... it's hard to get a PS5, but the latest figures are saying that even with the sales of the Series S, the Series X combined, PlayStation is still outselling you 2 to 1. So that's not the problem. But I'm just saying is, first off, I kept hearing saying, the reason why they locked out the last gen consoles because the last gen consoles can't run the certain new games. Okay, that's fine. But it's not right though, is it? Because I hear rumours that Medium are going to come at a later date, so they can run on the console. Fair enough, they're not going to be in 4K 60 and all that, but the Xbox One X could easily run the Medium at 4K 30 or even 1440p, easy. It's just the main reason. Let's get to the heart of this. The reason is Microsoft has no new exclusive games. So what they're doing is they're locking off mediocre games, which are not really top end games, not like not AAA titles. They're locking them off to give people the impression that they're getting brand new next gen titles, which they're not. Right? So I'm sorry to say these things about Game Pass because I love it. I mean, I love it on my PC. I love playing the games on my top end rig and stuff like that. But I feel sorry for the people who are paid exactly the same amount of money and are not able to access these games. Because the first thing that happened to me when I wanted to put the medium on my Xbox One X, it says can't download. Your console doesn't have access to this game because they've locked it out. Now, come on, Microsoft. If you state these things like no one left behind, mean them. I'm a big Xbox supporter and a big Microsoft supporter on PC and Xbox. I always have been. I've had Xboxes for years, and now I'm on PC as well. But don't leave nobody behind, Microsoft. If you're going to say it, do it. Open up them games. Don't let games come in. I mean, I know you've not got no exclusive games coming for a while. I know you've got the Bethesda deal, but they're still making games. It's 2-3 years out. I mean, Sony's got no problems because they've got games like Returnal that's going to come out. That's a new IP, new exclusive game coming out. I mean, I know you've got a lot of third-party support with Capcom, with Resident Evil Village and stuff like that, but that's always on. They're all on PlayStation as well. But the thing is, now the big thing at the moment is now that Phil Spencer's announced that Elder Scrolls 6 and stuff like that won't be on PlayStation, which, quite frankly, is not really news because the simple reason, if you paid £7.5 billion for a company, all them companies, or $7.5 billion, I should say, you expect them games to be exclusive, but there is actually talk that they may not be. But anyway, Sony will come back with more studios. And the thing is, what you're going to understand is, at the present time, Microsoft has probably now got more first-party studios than Sony, but Sony is still making games. I mean, they started developing games for the PS5 years ago. Microsoft hasn't. That's the reason why they bought Bethesda, because they haven't got any new exclusives. And I don't care who shouts me out on this, that is a fact, and you can't prove against it. Because when you buy a new next-gen console, I've always lived my life like this. If I buy a new console, I buy games so I can play brand new games that I can't play on previous consoles. So, going back to the debate, Microsoft, if you're going to lock brand new titles away from people on Xbox One or Xbox One S, Xbox One X, make the service cheaper. Because why should they pay the same amount of money than somebody who's got a Series S, Series X or PC and can have all the latest titles day one, and then these people who haven't got them consoles or a decent PC have to wait 2-3 months. Now, if you're an Xbox fan, you should agree with what I'm saying, because they should be supporting all Xbox fans, not just the people who's got a lot of money to spend on next-gen consoles or top-end rig. I am supporting the people who haven't got that much money, who buy Game Pass because they buy Game Pass because it's cheaper than buying a $50 or $60 title or £50 game at a time. That's the reason why people are drawn towards Game Pass, because of it's a subscription platform. And if you're locking out certain people because of what platform they are actually playing your games on, that's not fair. So that's all I'm going to say about this. Please, if you've got any comments, leave them in the section below. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I will be back for some more videos on PlayStation as well as Xbox. I don't just come, slate Xbox for the sake of it. But if a company is doing something I don't agree with, I shout them out. And it would happen the same with Sony. So Microsoft, either unlock them games or lower the price of Game Pass for people who haven't got next-gen consoles or PC. That way, it will make it fairer for them people in the long run, because they won't have to pay so much money because they're not getting the games day and date as the people on next gen are. So this is Warric signing off, and I hope you enjoyed this little debate about the Xbox Game Pass, which I'll still say is one of the best things Microsoft has actually done, but it just needs a bit of tweaking, Microsoft. So get it tweaked and get it sorted. So until the next video, I'll catch you on the next one.